All right, got a weird, incredible show today. I'm already laughing because I just finished it, wrapped it all up, and now this is the intro. But so I know what's coming, and it's all bad. It's all bad. No, have a good time with me. Come on, let's watch it. Let's get into it already. I'm gonna stop talking. I swear. I'm gonna stop. I'm rambling now. What the hell am I doing? Why am I keep talking? I can't stop talking. What the hell is wrong with me? Oh yeah, I just pressed the button.
Shocking news. A 42-year-old mechanic escaped from a hospital in the northern United States in a state of panic, shouting, "They want to take my organs." At first, police believed he was delirious after a minor accident, but 2 hours later, a raid changed everything. The man, Mark Delcourt, was admitted for a minor injury, but his file had been altered to irrecoverable, and he was moved to a technical/maintenance wing. The doors were locked. The cameras were turned away. Mark heard two people whispering, "No family, we start tonight." In panic, he ripped out his IV, crawled into a ventilation duct, and escaped. Police thought he was still panicking, but Mark insisted there are more people alive in there. At 0047, a special tactical unit raided the basement. They found 4 patients strapped down, one lying on a table next to a tray of surgical tools stained with dried blood. Behind a false wall, they discovered a secret room containing 6 unregistered medical refrigerators and 28 files marked with a red X. The American public is in shock. A hospital, supposedly the safest place, suddenly appears to be the most dangerous for patients without family by their side.
Fair warning, I'm gonna talk for 5 minutes right now. I'm gonna tell 3 incredibly crazy stories, mind blowing. If you wanna listen, you don't. I already warned you 5 minutes, so if you wanna skip ahead, do your thing. I respect it either way. There was a room hidden with a bed in it, and it had unregistered refrigerators for keeping stuff around. That is the most scariest, shocking thing I've ever heard, but I knew it. I knew it every time I knew it. Man, that is terrifying. I have severe anxiety of the hospital. You don't understand. One time I woke up after a surgery and I'm surprised I didn't pop open. But I ripped the IV out of my neck and I lifted this lady up in the air, and I remember screaming so loud when I picked her up because it hurt so bad, but I didn't know what was going on. And I remember she put a finger in my face, so I grabbed it and I squeezed her hand hard. It was hard. She was an older lady, so it was very bad for me, all bad. And then after that, they chained me to the bed, and I have severe scars on my arms to this day, arm, because I mean, I wanted to get out, and they were not nice to me at all about it. I didn't know what I was doing, and when I started to come out of it, I apologized to her so many times. She sat right there in front of me, staring at me, saying, "Fuck you," the whole time. It was the most unprofessional, horrible shit I ever went through. But anyway, I kept telling her, like, please, I feel better now. Look at me, person to person, human being here. I'm sorry that I did that. I apologize. Can we, undo these some? And she refused. So, whatever. It was what it was. She just stared at me for hours and it made me feel horrible and uncomfortable. And then another time, this guy beat my ass. It was a man. So, and I wish I would have waited for the right to get uncuffed. But the second he uncuffed my left, I hit him as hard as I could. Oh, I wish I would have been able to hit him harder. But this guy he beat the hell out of me. And yeah, to think that the hospital staff, they're people. I'm not gonna say I didn't deserve it. They're people. I didn't deserve it, but they're people, and there's nothing you can really do that's gonna make them all of a sudden be professional, great, amazing, and they'll never hurt you. Hell no. If you piss them off enough, they're going to. You've seen these stories of these nurses who purposely kill people. It's bad enough, let alone somebody might inject your blood with cup of noodles. Like, you don't need someone really that irritated at you to kill you, and they could do it on accident anyway. It's terrifying. It's terrifying. And I have such anxiety going back because, I mean, I died once. I went into so many operations. One time I asked the surgeon, stupidly, right before the medication kicked in and I went to sleep, the anesthesiologist right there, and I asked him, "What are the odds of something bad happening?" And I thought he was going to lean in close and tell me, "You'll be fine. I'll take care of you." He leaned in and said, "Anything could happen." When I woke up a few seconds later, I was screaming, and it was done already. It was over. But I have so many stories of what they've done to me. Another one, real quick. this nurse kept telling me, she was young, she looked like 18 years old, didn't even look like she should be working there. And she kept telling me, I need a urine test to see if you're on drugs. I was hallucinating. I was, septic. My blood was septic, and I was imagining all kinds of things. It was scary. I was terrified. And I kept saying, I don't have to use the bathroom yet. I don't know how, because they wanted to give me medication, but they wanted to be sure I wasn't on anything first. It wasn't that long. And I kept telling her, just wait, give me some water. I was being reasonable. I swear. I wasn't telling her, F you, I'm not going to do that. I kept saying, it's just not there. Give me a minute. And she decided to get a catheter and pop the top. She called security. They held me down physically instead of tying me or anything like that. It just held my arms down. She pulled it out for me, got a tube, and she jammed it like she was stabbing me with it. Oh, it hurt so bad. Blood came out. For a week, I was pissing blood. It was horrible. And it was all just for a drug test. Like, that's illegal. They can't do that. At that time, I was so out of it, I didn't even know what the hell was going on. Like, I think about the stuff that they've done to me now. Like, they could never, I would sue. Like, my kids should be millionaires right now. But I was so out of it and just needed help that I was more concerned with not dying, which I guess they did their job, but I saw that nurse a few years later. Bet she didn't even recognize me, but why would she do that to me? These are horror stories. All right, I'm sorry. I'm talking forever. I'm so sorry.
63-year-old Nicolas Maduro was in power 12 years. In 2024, he lost his re-election bid, but remained in power and forced the winner into exile. Maduro ruled Venezuela's 28 million people as an autocrat, imprisoning his opposition and leaving the economy of an oil-rich nation in shambles. Yesterday, the U.S. Department of Justice revealed an indictment of Maduro, accusing him in a so-called narco-terrorism conspiracy.
I added that so I could ask the question to everybody here. How do you feel about that? Do you think this is another war on oil, just blood for oil? Are we actually trying to stop that fent crisis? Because it's bad. I live in LA County. I look at the streets around it. People are really, really addicted, and it's bad. They need help. And if that means that we stop Ina from sending stuff through Venice, that place, then yeah, maybe that's what we should do. I don't know. How do you feel about it? Are we doing the right thing, or we just commit some international treaties, the laws broken and things like that, said words backwards? So no, bye-bye on this video.
The pandemic created at least 40 new big pharma billionaires. Pharmaceutical corporations like Moderna and Pfizer made $1,000 of profit every second from the COVID-19 vaccine. More than two-thirds of Congress received campaign funding from pharmaceutical companies in the 2020 election. Pfizer chairman Albert Bourla told Time magazine in July 2020 that his company was developing a COVID vaccine for the good of humanity, not for money. And of course, Pfizer made $100 billion in profit in 2022. And may I just mention, finally, and this is also a fact, that you, the American public, funded the development of that. The German public funded the BioNTech vaccine. When it came to the profits, they took the profits. When it came to the funding, you paid.
That is true, too. More facts.
All I'm querying is this.
Yes.
Is if you have an economic system in which pharmaceutical companies benefit hugely from medical emergencies, where a military-industrial complex benefits from war, where energy companies benefit from energy crises, you are going to generate states of perpetual crisis, where the interests of ordinary people separate from the interests of the elite.
This is what you get.
They kept trying to cut him off. You guys notice that?
Allegedly, but this is not. You could look it all up. When he started getting a lot of fame and really going deep into them, that's when all these allegations started up. And I'm tired of hearing 20, 10, 15-year-old allegations come out on somebody. If you didn't do it then, it's because they weren't either rich, famous, or it wasn't, something that somebody paid you to do. People need to stop listening to these people who are coming out with stories from how long ago? Do you know the human memory sucks from 10 seconds to 20? And I'm supposed to believe you years? Oh, yeah. At Cold Case Show, when they would explain their entire day, exactly what they did, like, man, I don't remember last week. You're so full of it. And then just be like, yeah, he did this, he did that. And well, why did you wait so long? Oh, I was waiting for somebody to pay me and for him to be in a politically motivated spot for them to do it all. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I'm going to phone the police.
In 2022, a TikTok user named Demi Graham uploaded a disturbing video outside of her apartment in the UK, and it features a man roaming outside her door, claiming to be a delivery driver and attempting to give her some type of gift, and not knowing his true intentions, it leaves her terrified because he seems to leave and come back multiple times. Here's part of that recording. Take a look.
Why are you at my door?
Sorry, Mrs.
Who are you?
John.
John?
This is just a candle I wanted to give you. A candle as a present.
It's what you talking about. Why? Who sent you to my door? Who sent you to my door?
I just, sorry.
No, I want to know who sent you to my door. I don't know who you are.
Nobody.
Cut the act.
I just want to give you a present. I'm sorry.
Who are you? But where have you came from?
Can I just give you that?
Where have you came from? Why? How do you know that's my cup?
It's alright, doesn't matter. Sorry.
Are you stalking me or something?
No.
Who are you?
Sorry.
Who are you? Tell me who you are. I'm going to phone the police. Tell me who you are. Who are you? What the I just had this guy at my door saying he's from Amazon. And I don't know who that is. What the Who are you? What do you want? I'm trying to leave my house. I'm going to make you keep this video on for my own safety.
Now at this point, she realizes he's essentially blocking the way she needs to go to get out of the building. But trusting her gut, she decides to take the emergency staircase. And this is what happens.
I don't know what What are you doing? Who are you? Can you guys please help me? Guy, trying to fuck me. He's just came in my door and he's good on my step. I heard that when my dude's trying to come into my house. I'm going on my phone.
Now, as you can see, she was able to get outside and find some help. But outside of that, there wasn't much updates to find because her TikTok account is now gone. However, there was a comment on Reddit claiming that she had posted an update at the time. And it states, yeah, she posted another couple of videos. The guy has come back to her door and asked to see her with her top off and telling her she looks good. She suspects her ex is sending these people to scare her and that she thinks he is watching or
Okay, 100% I'm not siding with him, but the leaves and comes back. If you notice, he got really terrified when she started to freak out, and he looks like he has anxiety and doesn't know how to talk to girls. Because he immediately backed up, said, I'm sorry. He tried to run down the stairs, almost run, but he's fat. And if you notice, it was probably locked because he had to come back up again. And when she started in on him again, he never even looked at her. He looked entirely away. It looked like he doesn't live there and he has no idea how to get that out of there. And you were terrifying him. At a certain point, it looked like you were stalking him. I'm not judging, not saying anything. I seriously doubt he's that bad of a guy. He was just trying. He's fat, ugly, and has anxiety. I mean, had you been nice to him, it probably either you would have been able to sugar daddy him or it would have just died there and just been like, I'm not into you. But for you to scream and freak out, like, what did he do that was so terrifying? He brought you a gift? Dude, I don't get why people they tell you the horror stories all day long on the news, and when real life comes around, you panic. Just be nice and be like, nah, I'm good. Thank you, though.
Why does a 300 km per hour hurricane destroy everything, but the Earth spinning at 1,670 kilometers per hour does nothing? Isn't that concerning?
It terrifies me more and more that I actually start believing it. I mean, the sun and the moon, they're the same size. Look at them. I don't get any of it. The Bible tells you this place ain't moving, and if you believe the Bible in some things, then you gotta believe it in all things. So it is terrifying to think that maybe I am a flat earther. Yeah, I feel stupid, but then I look around and I'm like, it's stupid not to think that. Seriously, you mean everything, the atmosphere is moving at that fast of a rate? A helicopter is like that, just isn't gonna move because the wind around it is pushing it at the same time? How does wind stay the same rate all throughout the earth? And to what point does it stop? You mean if I get up 100 feet, 2, 3, a mile, 10 miles, then it slows down some? Doesn't that make sense? Why would the entire Earth's atmosphere move at the same rate? That sounds retarded. Then what is wind? Why is wind there then? Wind would push it the other direction or make it go faster, right? And then you go up a little bit and all of a sudden it's just not there. It's there, but it is there. All of it sounds like nonsense, and it makes me think they just think we're so stupid. They'll do anything and not care how we feel about it.
Hundreds of people in the valley say they are hearing voices in their heads. And those voices are being transmitted by microwave or other methods.
Well, several viewers asked us to investigate what they call electronic harassment. KMIR 6's Angela Monroe joins us now with what she's discovered. Angela.
Electronic harassment, synthetic telepathy, voice-to-skull technology. Chances are you haven't heard of these terms, but after searching the internet, I found dozens of websites dedicated to the phenomenon and several Valley residents who say they're victims.
How much more can you invade me than to go into my brain?
It sounds like somebody else is reading the book, only it's thoughts.
We're not having a group hallucination. This is actually something that's happening.
These men all live in the area, didn't know each other before the voices started, and say someone is playing mind games with them.
Mostly it's a lot of derogatory comments about whatever you're thinking about.
Only time I ever had a whole sentence, he said, "This is not about you," which just frosted me. If it's not about me, what the hell am I going through all this for?
Kevin Bond says he used to have a normal life.
I was living in the San Diego area. I was clerking for a federal judge, and I noticed that I was being followed by a whole bunch of people.
According to the websites, what Bond is describing is called gang stalking. He moved to Palm Springs to escape.
I started hearing, as you'll hear, hearing voices and what they'll call voice to skull or microwave hearing.
Bob Stansfield says his experience was similar and started a decade ago.
They were active in following me around here, and I started hearing the voices a little bit after the vehicular stalking.
Randall Ringer says the voices started when he was undergoing chemotherapy.
The first thing that was said was Randall Ringer. And I sat up straight and I went to into the bathroom, and I looked in the mirror, looked myself in the eyes, and I said, did that really happen?
Bond says he's found more than 300 victims.
I remember the good old days when all that stuff was a conspiracy theory. Now you just literally go to the patents, find the weapon, and say if somebody's doing tests on them. That is so beyond messed up. What? Jesus? God? What'd you say? To do what to them? I'm coming for you. God sent me.
Creepy video by the Paranormal Files. This is a pretty old story, but I think about it now and again because people were very entertained by this individual. He actually became a social media sensation. They loved his videos, but they still felt like something was very off about him. And well, it just happened to be confirmed that there was.
Edward was somewhat of a celebrity on YouTube because of the extremely bizarre videos that he posted all the time. These videos included a lot of dancing, lip syncing, and extremely disturbing and eerie expressions like this one above. Edward was born in the year 1932 in New York City. And from a young age, Edward wanted to entertain people, and that's what led him to Kansas City, Missouri. It was in Kansas City, Missouri, where in the 70s he worked as the host of a children's program. This program, which Edward hosted until the year 1983, was called 41 Treehouse Lane. And like I said, this program put him around children all the time. Edward also hosted a late-night sort of variety show that aired on local stations, and he was known as this zany, bizarre guy with a lot of energy. Well, eventually, Edward started posting videos on YouTube as he got older, and people started seeing these videos thinking they were really bizarre and funny, sharing them, and he became famous. But that's when people started to do Google searches of Edward and they found some disturbing history. You see, at one point in the past, Edward had been arrested for fondling children. And when people started to do searches of his name, they found all of these records and began to expose him. Eventually, Edward couldn't hide from these accusations. He was forced to move cities multiple times, but when the authorities in Florida found out that he was posting videos, they went and arrested him because typically sex offenders aren't allowed to be on the internet, especially not posting videos which kids can easily access. So Edward was then rearrested in the year 2010, sentenced to 5 years in prison, and he died in prison in the year 2012. His YouTube channel is still up, and if you want to see some creepy pieces of media today, you can go check it out yourself.
What is crazy to me is that you can tell somebody is hiding something. They have some kind of darkness inside of them just by looking at their eyes. And taking a look at Edward's eyes, you can tell that this individual had something very sinister hidden within his closet. So many people look past this and just saw him as a kooky, lovable grandfather, and it really just goes to say how many people that we walk past in our everyday lives that we think are just everyday people but have something so dark and evil hidden within them.
Yeah, there's no way I don't see him and immediately think he's something, does something with something. Let me ask everybody out there, if you could read minds, would you want to? Granted, I mean, from guys, you're just going to hear a lot of like, I wonder what her asshole tastes like. Why would it go to that? I meant to say her boop is like boop, but I always put it boop when I boop, and then I'm sweating and it feels amazing, but when I'm done, like, I just got to take a nap on those boop. Anyway, how do you do it? What do you do? How are you thinking right now? Tell me the truth.
Do you realize what Supercell is? That's not a series. That's not a series. You know what that is? That's an observation. That is an experiment. See, look, my mom used to always tell me this. She said, the message is in the movie, get the picture. The message is in the movie, get the picture. So when you look at Supercell, notice it's called super. Super means to be superior, supreme, and a cell is a small thing that has organs in it, or organelles, right? So Supercell is this series based off of black people, so-called black people. Can't be nobody else because only so-called black people get sickle cell anemia. This is only a so-called disease that's prone to us, which I believe is truly a super power gene, but we've been made to think that this is something wrong with us, right? But in this specific series, anybody that had the sickle cell trait or had sickle cell, they had the ability to react with their environment and be activated to have supernatural powers. You see that? And guess what happened? All of the people with sickle cells were kidnapped by a white government, and they were either killed, experimented on, or they had MK Ultra done to them, and they came and they worked for the government agent to go get other people that had sickle cell anemia. Now peep the basis of it though. All of them was gangbangers, selling drugs, drug users in the hood. They did it all in poverty states. Same thing as cloning Tyrone. The same exact, look, they showing.
Crazy to think that only black people are affected by that disease. That's very interesting. I remember, what was it, last year or two, when everybody, especially black people, were talking about they were going to get superpowers. I'm not hating. I wanted some damn superpowers. Every day I wake up just looking at myself like, all right, today's the day I'm going to fly. And then I'd fall off the roof. But I gave it a shot. I would put like plastic bags on my arms. Well, that's what I did as a kid. I used to jump off the roof thinking that it would parachute me like Mary Poppins or something. And yeah, I almost died a bunch of times. But it was cool though. It was cool. And I do believe we are getting like mutant gene powers, but it's more mental stuff. Like people are opening up their third eye, so they're actually able to hear, feel what you're thinking, vibing with you, auras, all that, mumbo jumbo words. You know what I'm talking about. Can you tell what I'm thinking right now? She's pretty hot, huh? Yeah, I like her. Never met her though.
Evidence for ancient technology is not going to be found near these temples. It's going to be the temple. This is Angkor Wat, and this is a CMOS sensor. Any digital camera will have one of these. That's Angkor Wat from above. What does a CMOS sensor do? It takes in light and converts that light to electrical signal. Why would ancients want to do that? To make that signal usable, we use something called a high-frequency oscillator. These create stable frequencies with no moving parts. They're used in everything. Should be no surprise at this point, the geometry of that oscillator is 4 resonators around one central resonator. Tesla uses these, which could be confused with ancient Peruvian architecture if you follow me. All resonators work by using cavities to excite and amplify a desired frequency in the center. Let's say we cut Angkor like that in half. I feel like it'd probably look a lot like that guy. Picked a great day to watch Base Forge. I'm full sending this one. You see that forested area conspicuously covered with trees? They scanned it with a laser on a drone to see what's underneath the trees. You know what they found?
What the hell is even that?
The acoustic waveguide for our oscillator happens to look just like that. If you watch the Prambanan video, you know that the interior of these temples looks just like a corrugated horn antenna. Those peaks are not decorative. They focus the signal as it exits the cone. This minimizes power loss and strengthens the signal. A phased array arrangement focuses the signal into the main horn. That is what the signal looks like, and that may be your design inspiration for a tower.
It's so interesting to me to think that they were building with materials that they knew were going to last thousands of years. I mean, we build with stuff that won't last a couple of years. Now imagine them back then being like, yeah, we could use plastic. Well, what happened to the one that was the previous? It's gone. We don't know where it's at. Stone it is. Stone it is. And some of these stones are so impressive, not only the way they cut, but how they act and what they are. I mean, a quartz crystal just hold every bit of information, and we've just happened to find a bunch of skulls that look like it was made for that. But we're too stupid to understand the technology from thousands of years ago. They were so smart, they created it so it wouldn't go away. We can have time to figure it out. I guess that probably happened to them one time, huh? Maybe we should take lessons from that and not just build a giant mountain clock.
Before we were all born. We want to know why we're being told that they were built with hammers and chisels. Today, I think we take a step closer to finding out where this incredible knowledge of construction truly came from. Where we are all aware of the massive continent that was completely left out of our mainstream textbooks, the land of Mu. So let's go even deeper. When we go back to this article from the Courier Journal from 1925, nearly 100 years ago, where it reads, according to the records from Colonel Churchward and the East Indian High Priest, the records state that some people were brought by flying machines to India from the land of Mu in the Pacific Ocean. The records say that Mu was the motherland of man. In Mu was the Garden of Eden, where they had cities, where they learned to build palaces of marble. They acquired the skill to quarry gigantic blocks of stone and to transport them long distances and to carve them into human faces. Like we saw in episode 60 in Easter Island, where the records say that the people of Mu navigated the air and had ships where they sailed to far distant lands with rich cargo. And now that we know all of this, I want to show a few things. First of all, this is showing that the technology of flight has been here before, where the Wright brothers' story, creating the first plane in the 1800s, would be a massive lie, where they have this information stored and giving it back to us slowly, as we have discussed. Secondly, they mention in the tablets that the land of Mu was in the Pacific Ocean. The Pacific Ocean has been named the Pacific Ocean for 13,000 years? Or was the land of Mu here much closer to our timeline? Or is there more land? Not the entire continent, obviously, but are there other lands, possibly bigger than Easter Island and possibly bigger than Hawaii, left over from that cataclysmic event that are still here today and simply hidden from our maps and our flight paths, where our current day planes could simply just be flying around that area, where these hidden islands could be, hidden knowledge, where our flight paths are just circling it, the Garden of Eden. The place where humans had cities, where they learned to build palaces of marble, and learning all of the construction skills that we are all asking questions about worldwide today. We are all wondering who built these cathedrals. We all know at this point that the horse and wagon community did not hire Donkeys Incorporated in the 17 and 1800s to chisel away at some stone and marble and knock out the Cologne Cathedral. We know this. We know that they didn't hit the stone with a hammer, a little harder and with a little more precision than we do today. And their work just lasts forever, and ours doesn't. It's not about effort. There's knowledge involved here, and we are just getting started today. Welcome to episode 61 of
It's my lunch break. You ever get a chance, check it out. Guaranteed you won't miss. Beyond that, though, could you imagine if they actually had a landmass out there that was huge and they just redirected planes around it so you couldn't see it? I think satellites would show it, right? I mean, maybe if they just blocked it out. That is wild to think. There's no way it could be, but it could be. That messes with me. Because I don't know. I've never gotten a spaceship and gone to space and been like, yeah, it looks kind of flat. I've never gone past those areas, looked and said, yeah, there's nothing here. So I got no idea. Sad part about learning stuff is who you're learning it from. I could just be regurgitating a lie that they heard from somebody who regurgitated a lie. I'm sad now.
This isn't fake. Why the are they looking at trinkets and looking at the camera more? They're looking out the window. Yes, yo, you're in space. They didn't even look at the window that much, bro. You know why? Because there's no space there. They're looking at a green screen. First off, someone on the inside opening the door. They f***ed up. Yeah. They weren't supposed to show that on camera. Real spaceships that go to space by NASA, fam, cannot be opened from the inside. They can only be opened from the outside. Yeah. Now, every single spaceship that came back down from orbit, the heat, yo, it's gonna burn up the spaceship. That look fine. Another detail, other space shuttles, they have windows that are very small because the structure of it cannot handle putting too big of windows because it's gonna break. That's true. But since this is all for show, they made the fucking windows so big and it just doesn't make sense. This is the spaceship going up. Yeah. Look at this part right there. You see it?
You see a glitch.
It gets a little bit bigger and smaller. The whole thing's fabricated, bro.
Yeah, yeah. If I wanted to go to space tomorrow and I wanted to AI that, I probably could with a good CGI. Yeah, I mean, it's very simple.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure to update on this to laugh at it too. It turns out it was all for show. They didn't do anything. And they ended up allegedly suing Katy Perry because she's the one that let everybody know by opening it from the inside. It's a sealed capsule. You can't do that. People would die if you went into space and did that on accident. Either way, though, it's hilarious because you notice they didn't look at space. They didn't look at anything because they weren't seeing nothing out there. It was green screen. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. Fooled me once, and then you wonder, like, holy crap, they fooled me twice. They do that all the time. Damn, that's messed up. Anyway, back to this. let me end it here on a great sad note. If you got more time, watch another video. If you can, please leave a comment, subscribe, thumb blast. You already know what to do. Help me out. I'm really trying to grow this channel, and it's challenging. Maybe I just suck. I don't know, but help me out.